Today I want to talk about how the synthetic AMC shorts are about to be exposed in federal court. FTX executives have been working with the Department of Justice to turn on Sam, and it won't be long until Sam turns on other key criminals to reduce his sentence, like Citadel and Virtu. So stay tuned and let's make some money. And now I want to dive straight in with the key information. So, Compound tweeted saying we've just discovered that Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang turned on Sam, ratting him out to the feds. They said the SEC's civil or non-criminal complaint is built on their participation and gives us our first insider account of the FTX disaster. They said it's what we thought. Sam Bankman-Fried lied. Wang did indeed build a backdoor to FTX for Alameda to sweep funds. Caroline also ran Alameda, and Sam invested in real estate, politicians, and venture capital. It says Caroline said Sam directed her to take customer funds from FTX in exchange for the made-up FTT token. This directly contradicts Sam's repeated "I don't know" statements, and Caroline is wisely throwing Sam under the bus. In May of 2022, despite having already borrowed billions and billions of FTX customer assets, by May, when crypto went bump in the night, Alameda couldn't fulfill its borrower obligations. Sam ordered Caroline to take even more FTX customer money. The violations peaked in 2022 but began years ago, back in 2019 at the very start of FTX. It wasn't a recent accident, it was a multi-year fraud. Alameda was siphoning money from FTX customer accounts since the very inception of FTX back in 2019. Sam knew about it the whole time but did nothing about it. And on top of that, Sam was always in control. Even after naming Caroline and Sam as co-CEOs of Alameda in 2021, Sam remained in absolute control. He frequently communicated with Alameda people and had full access to its books and records. Now, this is just the SEC's civil complaints that have been unsealed, but we also have the Department of Justice's criminal complaints, which are indeed taking action as well. Now, the former FTX co-founder Gary Wang and former Alameda Research CEO Caroline Ellison were facing up to 50 years and 110 years in prison respectively. But because they decided to work with the SEC and with the Department of Justice, entering into a plea deal and turning on Sam, their criminal charges were dropped entirely. As Hasaka tweeted, he said Caroline committed one of the greatest cases of financial fraud ever, but only received a $250,000 bail and to surrender all of her travel documents in exchange for all charges waived, contingent on cooperating with the authorities. Now, so we know that Caroline and Gary were facing 50 and 110 years in prison, but because they cooperated with the Department of Justice and with the SEC, all of these criminal charges were dropped in exchange for Sam Bankman-Fried. But what if Sam Bankman-Fried could also cooperate with the Department of Justice and with the SEC in order to turn in more prevalent criminals? As Stephanie tweeted, she said, "Where are they, Sam? Now might be a good time to start spilling the beans. There's no honour among thieves." She said, "You were just the fall guy, a big distraction from the real mastermind. We all know that it's not you." I think that right now Sam actually has a number of opportunities to cooperate with the Department of Justice and with the SEC to bring more financial fraud to light. Sam obviously knows a lot about being a hedge fund, a market maker, and a trading venue, an idea that was potentially taken from Citadel Securities. We also know that one of Sam Bankman-Fried's right-hand men did actually work at Citadel before joining FTX as the president. And we also know that Sam Bankman-Fried knows a lot about tokenized securities and how they work and how they can be used to synthetically short American companies. Therefore, it wouldn't surprise me if Sam ends up in court being asked, will the defendant please point to the true mastermind of the tokenized synthetic shares securities fraud? Obviously, at which point Sam is obviously going to be pointing directly to Ken Griffin to reduce his sentence from potentially multiple life sentences to getting off scot-free with a small fine. I don't think Sam is somebody that would fare well in prison, and therefore I imagine he's going to do anything he possibly can to get out of prison time. Guys, if you want to move to a broker that doesn't engage in payment for order flow, as I proved in a video a few weeks ago, be sure to sign up to Moomoo right now using the link in the description below. You can currently get 20 free stocks worth up to $2,000 each, a whopping total of up to $40,000. Moomoo is also holding their largest ever giveaway for the Christmas period with a $60,000 giveaway sweepstake. Charles tweeted saying that Sam's lawyers are working to convince the Department of Justice to grant Sam bail under some type of supervision in exchange for cooperation once he's extradited. And Aran tweeted saying that he can't wait to hear all about their AMC tokenized securities allegedly being used as false locates for Citadel Securities and for Virtu. This would be a brilliant way for Sam to expose in court one of the largest financial frauds ever. Exposing a giant fraud like that likely would reduce Sam's sentence to nothing for cooperating with the Department of Justice and with the SEC. But Osher also tweeted saying, imagine if Sam agrees to a plea deal that will expose Tether as the fraud that it is. Sam could also turn on Tether, he could turn on Binance, he could turn on Citadel Securities and Virtu, he can practically turn on the entire of Wall Street. We also know the CTO, or the Chief Technology Officer of Tether, visited Sam, the former FTX CEO, in the Bahamas, and then took a private jet straight to El Salvador. And as I said earlier, just one man connects FTX, Citadel, and the crypto market crash. Brett Harrison's relationship with Citadel is just one commonality, linking it with FTX. This article said that Mr. Harrison joins FTX from Citadel Securities, where he oversaw a team of over 100 engineers. Therefore, Brett Harrison was likely working on the high-frequency trading division or the algorithm division over at Citadel Securities. During his tenure at Citadel, Mr. Harrison held senior technology leadership roles, first as the firm's head of ETF technology and subsequently as head of semi-systemic technology. And prior to his time at Citadel, Mr. Harrison and Mr. Sam Bankman-Fried worked together at Jane Street for 3 years, where Harrison led the firm's trading systems development group. So we can see that both Sam and Brett Harrison worked together at Jane Street. Sam then went on to start FTX, while Brett Harrison went to work at Citadel directly for Ken Griffin, before again going to work with Sam at FTX. Brett Harrison likely created these tokenized securities at FTX with Sam Bankman-Fried directly on the request of Ken Griffin at Citadel. It's likely Brett Harrison has also been subpoenaed during this FTX investigation, and therefore I don't think it will be long until Ken Griffin and Citadel are roped in alongside. And as Trey tweeted, he said that Citadel reported derivatives notional exposure of $459 billion. He also said that an average notional exposure was used, rather than actual exposure, to conceal the huge jump in 2021. And he said that is 33 times the leverage of total assets, should we exclude the amounts borrowed from the SEC of $65 billion. And they also have a 95% concentration of these derivatives with one counterparty, which is Bank of America. We can see that Citadel has derivative liabilities on equity contracts, aka stocks, of $459 billion. And at December 31st, 2021, Bank of America Merrill Lynch serves as clearing and prime broker for 95% of the company's net derivative assets. This is obviously some crazy exposure to show that Citadel don't just have short positions on AMC, they also have leveraged short positions through the use of derivatives and total return swaps. I think it would be brilliant to see Sam turning on Citadel and turning on Ken Griffin in order to reduce his own sentence. And it also seems these shorts are getting more and more panicked and more desperate to say whenever they can that AMC and GameStop are dead and that you should sell, sell, sell. You may have seen this video of the PIMCO co-founder on CNBC talking about how AMC and GameStop are dead and how the whole meme stock craze is over. But he was being specifically asked about this FTX nonsense, but he just couldn't resist but talk about AMC and GameStop instead.
It goes by the initials. Perfect. Now it makes sense. Full sense to me, Bill. Listen, you're retired. You are truly unconstrained now. You can do what you want. You've been talking about shorting C years ago. What else are you doing in the equity markets? And what's your take on this FTX nonsense?
Yeah, well, you know, the meme stocks, GameStop and AMC are basically played out, I think, although the companies themselves are not looking forward to any good prospects in the years going forward. But, you know, my interest, aside from the mortgage REITs, has been in the natural gas MLPs, Master Limited. It goes by the initials.
You can see these shorts are basically trying to get any airtime they possibly can to talk about how AMC and GameStop are dead investments. But yet we know full well that AMC has been very successful over the last year, generating billions of dollars in cash and looking at many potential acquisitive targets. And I've also got a very interesting video coming later today about the potential conversion of APE to AMC shares. And on top of that, Adam Aaron also suggested a potential reverse split of 10-1 as well. But guys, be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always guys, be sure to ding that notification bell, because that way you'll be alerted when I upload a new video. Cheers.